Hello. Okay, we're back. We're back to Going Big Time with Mike P, who is me. Hopefully there's a little thing here so you can see who I'm talking about, which is me. And then Steve is here, who's always great. We all love Steve. Steve, thanks for being here.
Always happy to be here.
Glad you are happy to be here too. Okay, so today we're expanding on my previous lesson, which is fills, right? And we're going to get a little more advanced. We're going to talk about 16th notes. So I'm going to pull out the whiteboard, which I know I'm going to immediately lose maybe 75% of the audience that just tuned in, but let's get at it. So what did we start with? We started with quarter notes last lesson, right? And then we got into eighth notes. So let's just break this down real quick, right? So we had a quarter note. Hopefully you can see this, right? Just a note, stem. That's it, right? We did 4 of those around the kit. That was our fill. So then we evolved that and we split that quarter note into 2, what? Eighth notes, exactly. We're just doing math here. So here it is, 2 eighth notes from that 1 quarter note, right? So that's just what we gotta keep in mind, okay? Is just we're always splitting notes into more notes, right? Into 2 notes. Because whatever, quarter notes becomes 2 eighth notes. Now eighth notes become 2 16th notes, right? So we're gonna split these babies up. And we're gonna make this. We got our note head, right? 4 of them, because this, like if this is beat 1, that becomes now 1 E, and then this is our and, that becomes and So altogether, this is 1 E and okay? And that's all it is. It's simple, right? It's nothing crazy. Notice there's 2 beams here, right? Quarter notes has no flag, no beam. Eighth notes have 1 beam, or if they're alone, they have 1 flag. When they come together in a beat, right, becomes a beam. Same with the 16th notes. Those have 2 flags, but when you put them all together, they beam together with 2 beams. So that's all that is. So hopefully, you know, you either skipped ahead if that was really just too boring for you, but if not, hopefully you got some deeper understanding of how rhythm breakdown works, right? Subdivisions are important. We got to understand them. And that was a brief overview, but hopefully it clicks. Can always look more into that. I'm going to have accompanying PDFs with this as well down the road. I have a lot going on. So eventually, bear with me, go to my Substack. Things will be there eventually. There's already a lot there, but let's get to it. So now we're talking about 16th note fills, right? And there's a few things we can do with this. I'm going to whiteboard you again later because we want to get more creative with what we can do with these 16th notes. So, but for now, let's just keep it totally broad, like just pure 16th notes, okay? Like full beats of 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. That's going to be our entire fill, okay? So let's get into it. So we're going to start with 8th note drum beat, right? Remember from the previous thing. So all that is, right, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the hi-hat. Snare drum is 2 and 4, bass drum 1 and 3. If you have a more exciting drum beat you want to do for this, have at it. Please do it, right? This is just for placeholder stuff, just to make it simple, okay? So that's just this, right? That's it, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And remember, we want to practice our phrasing as well. So we're going to do 3 bars of that into our fill, okay? What's our fill going to be? Let's start easy. So remember, we're going to play 16th notes now. So we need to count those. And hopefully, Steve, yeah, you can put that at the bottom of the screen. 1 E and right? Or 1 E and Maybe that'll line up. We don't know. We'll figure this out as we go. So my best advice for this is, since we're playing an 8th note drum beat going into a 16th note groove, what is really smart to do, which I tell all my students to do this, is you're going to count 16th notes while playing your 8th note groove. Because even though we're playing 8th notes, the 16th notes are still there. They're just not, there's nothing landing on those notes, right? So When we're counting one E and notice there's still the number, there's still the and. That's what our hi-hat's gonna be doing, right? The E and the we're just gonna count the space between those. So I'll try to play it quietly because this always messes with the sound. I don't have a system yet. If you have any tips, leave a comment, let me know, okay? Be productive, be constructive, okay? Here we go. So we're gonna go 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and, right? So it's like almost on the upswings is the E and the right? And this is to keep track of our time. Of course, you should be practicing this with a metronome. Let's not fool ourselves. That's what you got to do. If you're not playing with music, you should be practicing with a metronome, okay? Especially if this is just an exercise, you got to have a metronome because you need that reference point. You need the accountability of like, am I playing the drum beat the same tempo as the fill, vice versa, right? That's very important because the last thing you want is to rush a fill or drag a fill because then you get fired. You get fired from bands. You get let go because, you know, that's like a pretty basic thing you want to get good at. So let's get good at it, okay? Let's start from the ground up. Metronome's got to be our best friend. You got to have a good relationship with your metronome, okay? So get at it. Get tempo. It's a good one. That's not sponsored. I've used that one forever. It's great. It's cheap, and it does a lot. So here we go. So I'm going to do 1 bar of 8th notes. You're going to do 3 bars, and then we're going to play our 16th note fill with all of that counting, okay? Let's keep it simple. 1 E and snare drum. 2 E and tom 1. Rack tom, 3 E and floor tom, tom 2, and then let's come back to the snare just to finish it up for 4 E and okay? So let's go slow. This one's easy, okay? So 3 E and 4 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and E and E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. And that's all it is, right? And I'm gonna when I put this up on Substack, I have a whole exercise sheet of these along with quarter notes and 8th note fills. And they're all the same fills. They're just expanding the subdivision, right? So, and it's interesting to see how much the fills change, obviously, when you add the smaller and smaller subdivisions, because some fills become easier, some become harder, depending on how you're getting around the kit. But it's an important page, even though they're very simple fills, they help start to build your vocabulary of what you can do with fills, right? Because you want to just like, you know, use that as a springboard to open your creativity because that's, you know, fill can be very signature. So you want to get as free as you can on these fills, right? And just be comfortable in any situation, any scenario. So we want to practice for that. We want to be ready for that kind of thing. And so let's work on that fill, right? Maybe as another one, just as an example. Let's do this. We're going to do nothing too crazy. I don't want it to get too complicated, but let's do like 1 E and on the snare, 2 E and on the toms, 3 E and snare drum again, and then 4 E and the toms, right? Just as an example. So let's try this one. So 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and E and E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. There it is. And you notice, right? It's a mouthful. It's like speaking an alien language, 1 E and 2 E and, right? So you run out of breath. That's okay. Just, you know, breathe while you quiet your counting and then bring it back when you have your breath back, right? Because, yeah, it's really, I feel, very important to count out loud. when you're practicing this stuff. I feel it's more accountability. When you count in your head, you can kind of cheat, and don't do that to yourself. Honor yourself, okay? So work on that. That's important. Segue. We're back. We came back. We're still here, right? Steve's still here. Okay. Exactly. So now we're going to talk about kind of getting a little funkier with our 16th notes. So 16th notes, of course, don't always have to be all together like we just did, right? What we can do is we can beam 16th notes to an 8th note or an 8th note to two 16th notes, right? That's some of the stuff we can do. There's other rhythms that down the road we can look at, but this is like the next step, okay? So what do we have? Look at that. We've got 2 pairs of 8th notes. Let's get a side view. Oh, that's good. Okay, so those are some great 8th notes. So what we can do is, just split 2 of them, right? So that first one, first 8th note, we're gonna draw a note right down the middle here, right? Oh, look, is that a triplet? No, not yet, hold on. So we gotta put our second beam, right? Look at that. So I turned this 1/8 note into 2 16th notes. This 8th note still here, right? So what is that then? So that first one is still the 1. You can see it here. And then we inserted the E, and then we have an and. And the is in no man's land. So that's what we got, right? So we got 1, E, and So that's a common, very common rhythm, okay? And all that is a right, left, right. So we just go. Easy, right? 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. Still want to say the when we're practicing this. The other thing, which I haven't talked about, which is very important, is notice if we have 4 16th notes, okay? So we're playing the fill we just did, right? We're always going to be playing right, left, because if we're right-handed, that's what we do. If you're left-handed, do the opposite or whatever's comfortable. I don't know. It depends on how you set up your drum set. Some lefties play open-handed, right? So it's still a right-handed kit, but they play that way and have their right foot hit the bass drum. Sometimes your lefties play with the mirror kit, so where, left hand's on the hi-hat and the crossover, whatever. So, whatever floats your boat, whatever you're gonna do, just think about how you're gonna do the fill. If you're playing mirror, then you probably end up leading with your left hand. If you play open, I'll leave that up to you, okay? But what we wanna do is check out, and I kind of alluded to this, is that the counting is still 1 E and so we're still playing the numbers in the ands, right? But notice the right hand during the fill is on the numbers in the ands, right? So when we're playing a fill, we should make sure that our right hand is still playing 8th notes, right? Because it is. Our left hand's just filling in the space in between that. So if we're doing a full 16th note fill, we're gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So our left hand is just in between, but our right hand is playing the same stuff it was on the hi-hat, right? Why did I bring that up? Because when we do this fill, it's the same exact thing, right? We have the right hand on the number and the and. All we're doing is filling in between with the left hand. So let's check that out. That fill, if we do the same fill from the last section, right? But with this rhythm now, it's gonna be the same sticking. We're just doing we're inserting one left hand in between the right hands. So here's the demo of that. So 3 E and 4 E and E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and etc. Right? It's that simple. So why that rhythm? We don't always want to do full 16th notes. That's going to be pretty boring after a while, right? But this way, what we can kind of try to do is treat that lone 8th note as maybe an accent or a different drum, right? So we could do cool stuff like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and, right? We can kind of break up the rhythm. And of course, when it's all of that rhythm too, it's kind of bland as well. But that's why we want to get good at everything individually, really exploit each thing we can do, and then we mix and match, right? So let's talk about the other one, speaking of mixing and matching. Again, we got 2 eighth notes, right? So that's our 1 and again, sure. So 1 and. But we're gonna now split the and into 2 16th notes. Look at that. So we have the 1, the and the So we're just missing the E, right? But it's still just 2 eighth notes and then this, right? So making these both 16th notes, but still, right? These are still in the same position. It's just we're adding this last one, right? Which again, it's gonna be a right, nothing, and then a right, and then a left, right? So right, right, left, right, right, left. 1 and 2 and right? Easy. Okay, here we go. So same thing as before, but we're just putting the left hand in a different spot. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and, right? E is silent. We can still count it, just don't play anything there, right? Say it, don't play it, as I like to say. Okay, here we go. So that, again, we'll go back to that other basic fill, right? So snare, tom, tom, snare, go to the next thing. So 3 E and 4 E and E and 4 E and E and E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1, right? And that's it, right? And this one too, right? You can get kind of creative. Make that eighth note the accent or the different thing to hit, right? So like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and 3, blah, blah, blah. So that's the idea, right? We're just adding a next subdivision, right? So quarter notes, eighth notes, and now we're doing 16th notes. And this, you can get really creative with it. You know, mix and match all 3 of those. And like I said, there's others, and there's a lot you can do with all this stuff. So, but this is the beginning playlist, right? This is the beginning course. So just know there's so much more out there that's coming. So yeah, so work on this. So there's some ideas, right? Real, just mixy-matchy, whatever comes to you. Work out some of those orchestrations so that you're comfortable with them before you attempt them mixed up with other stuff. And yeah, just experiment, go wild, get creative. That's what this is all about. If you want to go big time,